They said I was too tired to notice. They forgot I taught them to hear the difference between an excuse and an engine. My son lifted the hood and frowned at nothing. Bad connection, Ethan said, tapping the battery with a wrench that didn't need tapping. We'll miss this one, Dad. I'll call and move it. It was my third chemo. The first two had already slipped away on small reasons that sounded reasonable. After that, the delays stacked like gray stones. We'll be out of town 15, maybe 20 days. Car died at the light. Tow's on the way. Clinic said labs are low. Better to skip. Insurance didn't pre-auth. They told me to push. Bridge work. Road closed. No way we make it. COVID exposure. We should be responsible. Tires soft. Can't risk a blowout. Storm warning. City says stay home. Noah's got a school emergency. Appointments lived and died like that. My calendar went pale with erasures. The clinic's voice on voicemail grew careful. I kept my coat on the hook and my mouth shut, because keeping steady has been my one good trick in life. When Maria died, I learned how to take pain quietly. When cancer came, the old skill returned like a well-worn tool. Silence can make a man blind to the obvious. It took a boy to give me eyes. Noah came after dark, breath fogging in my porch light. 17, too tall for last winter's sweatshirt. He stood at the threshold the way someone stands at the edge of a confession. "Grandpa," he whispered, "I need to show you something." His phone glowed with a thread of green and gray bubbles. His mother and his father, my son and my daughter-in-law, speaking the way people do when they believe walls keep secrets. Claire. If we push this one too, we extend the window another 2 weeks. Ethan. Call the clinic and say out of town. I'll loosen the terminal so the car dies at the light. Claire. What if he asks to Uber? Ethan. He won't. He hates to be trouble. He'll accept the reschedule. Claire. Power of attorney before summer. List the house before fall. Don't spook him. Ethan. If the treatment gaps widen, the decision sells itself. Noah's thumb moved. Night vision clips from the doorbell camera. My son crouched at my tire. A quick twist at the valve. A glance over his shoulder. Another clip. The hood open. His hands where the cables meet the power you trust to carry you. Something scraped across my chest from the inside, like a chair dragged slowly on a church floor. I'll fix it, Noah said, voice shaking. We can tell doctor. Park. I'll drive you. Tyler can help. Tyler? Friend from school. He's got a car. He does deliveries at night. He said he'd do it for free if you need. He likes you. Only you know? I asked. He nodded. Only me. I put the phone down. My hands looked older than they had at breakfast. Then only you will. What does that mean? It means I disappear, I said. Not forever. Long enough to live, I left at dawn with a duffel and the dignity I could still carry. I didn't slam a door. I didn't write a letter that could be read aloud and mocked in an echo only guilt can make. I turned off the number my son managed for me and slid a simple flip phone into my pocket. A number only Noah and one other boy would know. Tyler's Civic was the color of a bruised cloud and hummed like a sewing machine. He pulled to the curb with a thermos and a quiet that comforted. Mr. Grant? He said. Walter is fine. He nodded, hands at 10 and 2. We'll get you there early. We did. That first Monday, and then the Thursday after, and then the Monday after that. Dr. Celine Park's eyes softened when I showed up before the nurse finished her coffee. "We were starting to worry," she said, and didn't ask why I'd been gone. "Tyler refused gas money. 'Let me feel useful,' he said, and Noah squeezed my hand each time the drip began, a small pressure that told my body it wasn't alone inside its battle. Our drives became a quiet medicine. Rain on the windshield, AM callers arguing about baseball, egg and cheese on good days, silence on bad ones. I rented a room above a garage on a street that didn't know my name. A widow watered a geranium and left tea on Tuesdays. She didn't ask questions. I wrote Maria's name on an index card and tucked it in the frame, something small to make the room mine. Meanwhile, the excuses continued in the life I'd stepped out of. The clinic left voicemails on the old phone about rescheduling. Claire texted the number they'd always used. "Out of town, 2 more weeks. He's resting." I was across town, farther from their words than distance could measure. The body answers when you stop being pulled backward. By the third on-time infusion, my knees steadied, my breath behaved. Dr. Park doesn't speak in fireworks. She said promising response and keep this rhythm, and I taped those words above the geranium. We spent our strength on early alarms and paper cups of tea, on parking 5 blocks away when the lot was full, on Noah's geometry book open on his knees, on Tyler's playlists, Old Soul, New Quiet, and the plain joy of arriving exactly when you say you will. Noah saved what needed saving. Screenshots, videos, time-stamped notes. The future arrives in suits and asks for proof. Once I saw my son across a street while I was walking to the clinic. He was on his phone, laughing. I stepped into a doorway, counted the cracks in a brick to 20, and kept moving when I reached 21. "Do you want to confront them?" Noah asked after the 6th on-time session. "I want to breathe," I said. "Confrontation can wait until breathing isn't a trick." We kept the routine. Tyler's Civic at dawn, the clinic's soft beeps, Noah's hand, a nap, a sandwich. Wordless rides home with air moving through cracked windows, the city smelling like rain and bread. When the strength returned enough to stand without planning it, I called a lawyer from a payphone 2 blocks over. He met me in a library study room. I handed him the folder. Messages, call logs, reschedule notes, doorbell clips. "Can we keep this simple?" I asked. "Quiet and certain." "Quiet and certain," he said, and drew up papers that did not stutter. A trust in Noah's name. Tyler as co-trustee, with a modest share for the boy who drove before dawn. A gift to the hospital marked transport fund. Revocations for every power of attorney my son imagined for convenience. "Press charges?" the lawyer asked. "No," I said. "I want a record that doesn't disappear when their story changes." Months went by. Small, exact. I walked the block. Tyler talked about fixing up a van. Noah brought paperbacks. We ate peaches that dripped. The quiet proved what speeches never do. The first call from Ethan came in late summer to the old number. The voicemail was clipped. "Dad, where are you?" "Call me Claire." Texted. "Please respond. We're worried." Another week and worry turned. "We need to discuss your affairs." I didn't answer. I wasn't ready to waste what I had rebuilt on a scene designed to break it. When Dr. Park used the phrase, "maintenance phase," Noah exhaled so hard the curtain moved. I laughed. It sounded like it belonged to someone else. On a Tuesday with a sky like new water, I told Noah it was time. Time for what? To stop hiding. He swallowed. Do you want me there? Yes, I said. And Tyler too, if he'll come. Tyler didn't hesitate. I'll park out front, he said, as if we were going to a movie. We chose a simple place. My house, early evening, before people tire enough to bargain with themselves. Noah sent a 3-word message from a number they didn't know. Dad. Tonight. Home. I unlocked a door I hadn't used in months. Dust motes rose in the kitchen light. I set 3 things on the table. Paper copies of the messages, stills from the camera, the clinic log showing every family-requested delay. I put a glass of water in front of each chair. They arrived on the beat of their habits. Claire first, hair correct, smile trained. Ethan behind her, jaw set. He looked older. Dad, where have you been? He asked. Getting well, I said. We were terrified, Claire added. I saw your texts, I answered. They read like terror. We needed to make decisions, Ethan said. You left us with a mess. I slid the papers forward until the edge touched his knuckles. You made decisions, I said, before I left you. While I was still here, Noah stood to my right, quiet. Tyler stood at the doorway with his hands in his pockets, non-threatening and ready. What is this? Ethan asked. Your words, I said. Your plans. The clinic's patience. My doorbell's memory. Claire glanced at the still of Ethan by the tire, and I watched the last excuse leave her face like a bird that realizes the window is closed. Ethan read. He swallowed at power of attorney, at list the house before fall, at if the gaps widened, the decision sells itself. I can explain, he said. You already did, I answered, in your own words. Claire tried first. You thought I would be easier to handle if I were sicker, I said, not loudly. You thought my gentleness would cover your impatience. We were trying to keep order, Ethan snapped. You loosened a battery cable and called it order. And what did you do? Ran away. Let the boy play hero. Let a stranger drive you around like a friend, I said. Tyler has been on time 20 times in a row. That is not a stranger. That is family. He sat. The room made the sound old houses make when they remember. I'm not here to punish you, I said. I'm here to remove the power you tried to take. Claire's voice thinned. What does that mean? It means this, I said, and placed the new papers on the table. You will not touch my accounts. You will not speak for me. You will not sell what I built. I have signed and witnessed and filed. My physician knows. My lawyer knows. The hospital knows. The bank knows. Ethan laughed once, a dry sound. You put the boy in charge. No, I said. I asked him to carry the part of me that believes in showing up. Tyler shifted. Walter, I didn't drive you for anything. You drove me for everything, I said. And he stopped talking because sometimes praise is heavier than blame. So we're cut out, Claire said. You cut yourselves out, I replied, when you chose convenience over care. When you measured me in signatures, Ethan turned to Noah. Help me talk sense to him. Noah's voice didn't break. You loosened Grandpa's battery and told Mom to call the clinic. You said, if the gaps widened, the decision sells itself. I'm done helping you sell it. I was scared, Ethan muttered. So was I said. but I didn't make you sicker. I won't press charges, I added. That's not mercy. That's triage. I don't have time for courtrooms. I am busy living. What do you want from us? Claire asked. Nothing, I said, and felt the click in my chest that means a lock finally finds its home. Nothing is what I wanted from you the day you decided to make me disappear in my own house. They stood. At the door, Ethan turned. Dad, he said. I waited. He closed his mouth and went out into a light that didn't flatter him. The house breathed. Tyler let the breath out of his shoulders. Noah took mine in his hands like something you check carefully after a fall. I know, I said, and sat because victory is tiring too. We ate sandwiches at my kitchen table. Tyler told a story about a woman who tips in muffins. Noah laughed the way boys laugh when they are old enough to feel relief and young enough to believe it will last. The next morning, I walked my block twice. At noon, we went to the clinic. We were early. Dr. Park looked at my numbers and didn't hide her smile. Whatever you're doing, she said, keep doing it. Showing up? I asked. That's the trick, she said. The trust was funded. The transport fund at the hospital got its first deposit with a note that read, "For the ones who only need a ride to keep their hope on time." The widow upstairs cut the geranium back and promised it would bloom again in a month. It did. Ethan and Claire sent messages, one angry, one pleading, one practical. I answered none. Sometimes the past is a room that only hurts you when you keep opening the door. When I finally slept a whole night without waking to listen for a car that would never come for me again. I dreamed of Maria at the sink, humming the part of a hymn that never remembers the words, but always remembers the tune. She pressed a dish towel into my hands as if to say, "Help me dry the things we want to keep." In the morning, Tyler texted he was out front. Noah sent a photo of the sky, the kind you draw when you're small, blue with a sun in the corner proving the obvious. We drove. We were on time. A nurse waved. I watched the bag drip and let the room do its work. You can hear a lot in a place like that if you're quiet. Small jokes, careful apologies, the bravest kind of boredom. I closed my eyes and thought of the line I'd say if anyone ever asked what changed everything. Not the betrayal. Betrayal is common, not the evidence. Evidence is heavy, but it doesn't move by itself. It was a boy's hand on mine at a plastic chair, and another boy's car at the curb before dawn, and a woman doctor who didn't scold the lateness I couldn't explain. It was the world showing up, soft and on time, until my body remembered how. Weeks later, a nurse wheeled a woman to the curb and waved at a dented sedan with the hospital's new transport decal. The fund's first purchase, she said, proud as if it were a ship. I watched a grandson hop out, jacket too big, hope exactly the right size. He opened the door like it was a throne. I felt something in me unclench, not victory, something quieter, continuance, the kind of good that doesn't clap for itself. I touched the scar on my chest the way you touch the face of an old friend and thought, we aren't saved by miracles so much as by mornings. That night we ate spaghetti. Tyler said he'd saved enough to buy the van. Noah asked if I'd ride along the first time he drove it. I said I would if he didn't play anything too loud. He promised nothing and smiled. I stood at the sink after they left and found I was humming. The same half-remembered tune. The water ran clear. The plates shone. Outside, the street hummed with the ordinary. That's all I ever wanted at the end of everything. Ordinary and on time. If there's a moral here, I don't want it. Stories with morals rarely feed anyone. I'll keep this instead. When I fell, the ones who were family were the ones who bent, not the ones who planned. A father can forgive almost anything, but not what tries to turn him into paperwork. They tried. I lived. And when I came back, I brought the only proof that matters: breath, and the names of the boys who carried it.